Just as the NFL was reaching a low water mark from a news flow cycle over the weekend, came word from the Baltimore Banner, which had the original report of multiple accusations of inappropriate behavior by Ravens kicker Justin Tucker during massage therapy sessions. Again, he has denied everything. He had a lengthy post on Twitter late January when the first allegations initially arose, denying it all, and will honor and respect his position. He's entitled to his position. But now, given the latest report from the Baltimore Banner, the number of total accusers is 16. I don't know where the line is between sufficiently few that it can be brushed off by the player and his representatives as people lying, embellishing, fabricating, trying to get paid, all of the things that we often hear when someone is accused of misconduct in a setting where there are no witnesses. At some point between 2 and 16, it's hard to believe, just as a matter of basic common sense, setting aside the allegations and the denial, just as a matter of basic common sense, the sheer volume of accusations makes it hard to believe that they're all lying, that they've all teamed up, that they're all being manipulated by lawyers who are looking to make a big score. It's hard to hold that many together. With that many different people, that many different levels of conscience, it's hard to imagine all of them holding together unless they each individually believe that something happened that was objectionable. That was the case with Deshaun Watson. Once it reached a critical mass and ultimately in the 20s of accusers. And now here we are, approaching 20 with Justin Tucker. So no matter how this would ever play out in a court of law, and who knows if any lawsuits will ever be filed, no matter how this plays out in the NFL's in-house judicial system, where allegations like this are investigated, and if proven, discipline is meted out. Regardless of any of that, we're at 16. Court of public opinion takes over. And my thought was once we got to double digits, because that's where we last were, there were 9, and then there was a 10th who hadn't spoken to the Baltimore Banner, but who had retained counsel. Once we were in that range, I thought it's going to be hard for the Ravens to continue this relationship. Kickers are interchangeable. And when Justin Tucker has undergone some of the struggles we've seen on the field, particularly last year, it becomes easier to justify the basic reality of an NFL team. All the players are interchangeable parts in a football machine, and at some point they will be swapped out for a new part. And I can't help but believe that the Ravens have reached the point, especially now, where they'll be swapping out the kicker part and putting in a new kicker. They'll save money. Tucker's due to make over $4 million this year. And they'll avoid the PR headache that goes along with these allegations. The Ravens have been silent, but for the initial statement that was issued when the charges first arose. Not charges, allegations. I want to be fair to everyone here. But we have to be fair to our own common sense. At 16, it's kind of hard to look at it and say, it's all a hoax. It's a witch hunt. 16's a lot. And from a football standpoint, it'd be different if Justin Tucker played a critical role in the ongoing success of the Ravens. It'd be different if his skills were at a level where they would be hard to duplicate with someone who doesn't bring the baggage that comes from the 16 allegations. Basic football decisions get made all the time, and sometimes factors other than football are relevant to the decision. Before the latest report from the Baltimore Banner, I figured we'd get to the middle of March, start of the new league year. Tucker gets released with a post-June 1 designation to split the cap charge from 1 year into 2. I wonder at this point, can the Ravens get through the next 3 weeks or so for the new league year to begin? Or will they need to act before that? Or will they just announce that they are going to release Justin Tucker at the start of the league year? That would suffice. That's what the Jets did with Aaron Rodgers. They said last week they're moving on. They'll officially move on when the new league year begins. Nothing prevents the Ravens from doing that. So The silence from the Ravens is getting louder and louder. Some might say it's already deafening. We'll monitor it. It could be this week that the Ravens make their announcement. They'll need a plan at kicker in lieu of Justin Tucker. But again, there are kickers everywhere. Good kickers aren't everywhere, but Tucker isn't and hasn't been performing at the level that justified the contract he now has. That's one of the other factors. Setting aside the allegations, is he a $4.2 million kicker? With the allegations, is it worth the headache for the Ravens? It may sound unfair, especially if you're Justin Tucker and you staunchly deny these allegations, but how did we get here? How did we get to the point where there are 16 people who are making these accusations, especially if they're false? How does that happen? It all comes back to common sense. And for football, it all comes back to business. They don't want us to know it's a business. It is a business. And there are many considerations that shape the decisions made by a business. And one, when you're dealing with a business that relies upon people to buy tickets and show up and support the team, there is a point where the noise forces action. Right or wrong, fair or unfair, the noise at this point seems to be pointing to the Ravens taking decisive action. I'm not sure what else they would do other than move on and avoid a headache and a distraction coming from a position that typically doesn't present teams with headaches and distractions. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.